Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you an action-adventure film, The Tomb Raider. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Lara's explorer father has sought to uncover the dark secrets about Himiko, the mythical Japanese queen of Yamatai, who was said to command the power over life and death. Legend has it that the queen ruled over the land with magic, but she was rebelled by her general and sealed on a remote island. In order to prevent the revival of the wicked dead queen, the father went on a quest to find the island containing the tomb of Himiko. However, he never returned. When everyone thinks that the father is dead, his strong-willed young daughter Lara refuses to give up hope. She has steadfastly refused to sign for her inheritance, fearing that if she does, she will have to accept that her father, who disappeared without a trace somewhere in the Sea of Japan, is truly dead and gone. Without her father's fortune, Lara is struggling with her gym fee and earns a living by delivering food. Knowing that she could win the fox chase match if she manages to outrun the team of hunters, Lara volunteers to be the fox. Unfortunately, Lara mistakes a pedestrian as her father along the way. Distracted, she soon crashes into a police car and ends up being arrested. Later, Lara's guardian bails her out and continuously pressures Lara to sign in absentia documents to transfer her father's assets. It turns out both the police and private detectives have given up on searching for her father. If Lara does not claim her inheritance, the family company and estate will be sold off. For the sake of the family estate, Croft Manor, Lara finally meets up with the lawyer. At the signing, Lara is handed a puzzle box that was willed to her before she pens down her name. Lara immediately plays with the puzzle box and opens it to find a photo, a key, and a note hidden inside. Deciphering the hidden clue, Lara leaves the office for the Croft Manor. Piecing up all the hints, Lara gains access to her father's secret chamber, where she finds all his research into various matters of the occult, including Himiko. Ever since Lara's mother passed away, her father has been searching for the source of supernatural power. In a pre-recorded message, the father orders Lara to destroy all research data about Himiko, but Lara does not obey it. Instead, she carefully studies everything and decides on an expedition to find the island and her father. In order to raise money for the trip, Lara sells the jade pendant her father had given her. Upon arrival in Hong Kong, Lara finds Mr. Liu, the captain of the ship who had been employed by her father. But the drunk Mr. Liu does not welcome Lara at all. Fortunately, Mr. Liu quickly falls into a drunken coma, and he reluctantly answers all Lara's questions. To her surprise, the one hired by her father is not Mr. Liu, but his father instead. The two fathers embarked on the journey together and never returned. Lara spends some time deciphering the encrypted coordinates on the notes, and she hires Mr. Liu to bring her there. Tempted by the High Commission, the experienced Captain Liu takes Lara into the Devil's Sea and the island of Yamatai. In the middle of their journey, Lara opens the puzzle box and learns that an ancient military organization, Trinity, is also searching for the legendary tomb of the Queen. In addition, they want to rule over mankind by use of her supernatural power. Hence, when the father located the tomb of Himiko, he became the target for Trinity. The disappearance of her father and the existence of Trinity make Lara anxious. In the middle of the night, Lara is awakened by a violent shock. Mr. Liu explains that when the ship approaches the island of Yamatai, they are caught up in a raging storm. As the ship capsizes, Lara and Mr. Liu abandon the ship and escape. Lara desperately paddles to the beach, but as soon as she reaches the shore, she is surprise attacked and knocked out unconscious. The leader of Trinity, Vogel, imprisons Lara and robs her father's research notes. Besides, he reveals to Lara that her father was killed by him. Lara is certainly devastated by her father's death. As the father did not tip off the location of Himiko's tomb, Vogel has been searching aimlessly on the island. Lara's coming with a set of research data is the best news for Vogel. Soon, Vogel turns Lara and Mr. Liu into his slaves. The slave force consists of kidnapped fishermen and con stowaways. When the slaves lose their value, they will be killed by Vogel. Seeing Vogel pointing his gun at Lara, Mr. Liu attacks Vogel to make time for Lara to break away. After dodging numerous bullets from the enemy, Lara runs with her hands tied and falls into the river while crossing a single log bridge. With nowhere to escape, Lara is swept by the strong current to the edge of the 100-meter waterfall. But in a strong desire for survival, she manages to grab hold of a broken plane stuck in the waterfall between the rocks and hop onto the cabin before its wing falls. And then she cuts the rope with a sharp metal inside the cabin, and catches a parachute before the cabin breaks apart. However, as the parachute is faulty, Lara is injured following her rapid descent. She briefly treats her wounds and hopes to get some rest. However, on the same night, she is confronted by Vogel's guard. Even though physically she is much weaker, tenacious Lara locks the enemy tightly with her hands and feet, and then she holds the man in the water and drowns him. Shortly after she wipes out the Avenger, she sees a figure moving in the jungle. Lara follows the figure all the way to a cave located in the middle of the hills. Through the dim light, she finds the mysterious man to be no one else but her father, whom she is searching for. At first, the father regards the appearance of Lara as merely his own hallucination. When he is convinced that Lara really comes to the island for him, he tearfully helps to bandage his daughter's wounds. Their joy of reunion is short-lived, as the father soon learns that Vogel has snatched all his research data. For years, the father has been carrying out his mission in secret, tricking his enemies into believing that he is dead. But now Lara's arrival and carelessness ruin everything. The anger-stricken father blames Lara for traveling to the island to destroy his work. To make up for her mistakes, Lara takes up a bolt and immediately returns to Vogel's camp alone. There, Lara shoots the guard dead to free Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu, once armed, leads the rest of the slaves out of their hell. While the guards are distracted by the rioting slaves, Lara rushes into the camp to take the satellite phone. However, before her departure, she spots her father standing right in front of the tomb. Vogel seizes the chance to take the father as a hostage and threatens Lara to surrender her weapon. Lara cannot bear to see her father getting hurt, so she agrees to open the door of the tomb according to what she knows. As Lara safely lands on the cave, Vogel and his people also enter the tomb. However, one of the soldiers accidentally triggers a booby trap and is shot dead right away. When they come to the Valley of Souls, Lara is ordered to lead them through the temporary ladder. Even though the whole expedition team safely walk through the ladder, another booby trap is activated. As a result, the stone door is shut, and the floor tiles in the tomb also fall piece by piece. In a pinch, Lara discovers the color puzzle on the tomb door, and promptly derives the answer. With the topaz and sapphire merging together on the door, a green light is emitted to switch off the booby traps. Passing through the tomb ramp, they finally get to see the Queen's magnificent tomb. Desperate to achieve his own agenda, Vogel commands the soldiers to open the coffin without fully assessing the situation. But when exposed to air, the Queen's body instantly oxidizes and decays. As the well-preserved body becomes skeletal, Vogel demands the corpse be removed and taken away. However, reading the mural painting in the tomb chamber, Lara infers that the Queen was not unwillingly trapped here, but rather, she seems to have voluntarily quarantined herself on the island of Yamatai for the survival of her people. In a flash, Lara realizes that the Queen is in fact a carrier of a highly contagious disease. The Queen has developed antibodies, but people who come into contact with her will die from the disease. At this time, the booby trap of the coffin operates, and the two soldiers step back in fear. While Vogel scoffs at the fuss, the soldier who has just touched the Queen's body suddenly mutates. His rotting wounds spread from his fingertips to his body, turning the soldier into a zombie-like monster. After killing the dangerous soldier, Vogel understands the task given by his superiors. He then takes the Queen's finger for the sample, and prepares to evade the tomb. But at her father's signal, Lara launches an attack, and leads a soldier out of the vault. While the father remains where he is, and commandeers a pistol to tackle Vogel. But all of a sudden, another infected soldier pounces on the father. In the process of destroying the enemy, the father gets infected. On the other side, the fleeing Lara activates the booby trap, and charges towards the huge barbed iron bar. The guard who pursues her could not avoid the iron bar and is eradicated right away. Lara returns to the tomb, only to find her father already contracted with the virus. To prevent Trinity from succeeding in its plot, Lara bids farewell to her father and dashes out to pursue Vogel. At the Valley of the Souls, Lara blocks Vogel from crossing by hooks and crooks, and even kicks the ladder down the valley. As his hope of leaving diminishes, furious Vogel punches Lara down to the ground. When he is about to slay Lara, the father sets off the bomb to blast the tomb. Lara takes advantage of Vogel's distraction to pull the sample out of his pocket and shoves it into his mouth. Shortly after Lara kicks Vogel down the valley, the whole grave starts to collapse. Lara takes a desperate leap forward and clamps to the opposite slate with her pick. As soon as she lands on her foot, Lara sprints to the entrance with all her strength, and climbs up the entrance with a rope. At the same time, Mr. Liu and the slaves are clearing the rubble from the tomb entrance. With their help, Lara finally comes out from the grave safely. Together, they hijack a helicopter sent by Trinity, and leaves the island. With everything set, Lara finally signs the letter of inheritance. Out of trust in her guardian, she continues to entrust the company to her. But when she looks at the asset list, she discovers that the company which sponsors Vobel Patna is a subsidiary of Croft Holdings. After returning to the estate and reviewing other documents, Lara concludes that Guardian must be connected to the mysterious Trinity organization. While redeeming her jade pendant at the pawnshop, Lara sees the store collection of various munitions. So she chooses 2 guns, and gets ready for the unfinished battle. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.